Hey, I'm Marcus.
And I'm your substitute, Nick.
We are Working Class Nerds, the podcast that gives you no information about your favorite information. Today is Friday, November 20th, Stream Day 2020. You can find this podcast everywhere podcasts are found. You can also see me stream at twitch.tv/MarcusB814. I'm back. It felt so good to come back to streaming on Thursday night. Or Tuesday night, sorry. You can find the both of us on Twitter. I am at MarcusB814. You can find Nick when he's here. He is at Nick Byrne. This week's bonus episode, we're getting down and dirty into the SWTOR live stream that just happened like 4 hours or 5 hours ago. Joining me is Intisar from This Week in Aurebesh and fellow SWTOR content creator. Welcome back to the show, and what have you been up to?
Hey, it's great to be back. I have been doing a little bit of everything, but I've been doing mainly a ton of operations. 16-man, 8-man, hard mode, story mode. I even killed Nightmare Nephra because that's easy.
Well, it's still an achievement, right?
Yes. And you get the sweet crafting mats for the gold augments I don't need.
Have you got any of those?
No, I'm poor. I can't afford that stuff.
No, the materials.
Oh no, I lost the roll, so I don't really care either way.
Yeah, I have two. The funniest part is that every time they pop up, and I'm like, oh, those are nice. Oh, I didn't win one. Now, when you say you've been doing a lot of operations, is that teams you're on or filling in for people or a little bit of both?
A little bit of both. So I've got my progression team for my guild, New Outriders, and we run every Saturday nights. We just beat hard mode Nephra for the first time, which was really awesome. The team was great.
Hard mode Nephra?
Yes. Veteran mode, I'm sorry. Not
Veteran
Nephra.
mode.
Brontes. Yes, right. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry. And we've been working on Dread Fortress for, I don't know, a couple of months now.
So that was when Death Star Troopers first switched into hard mode. We started at Dread Fortress when everybody was like, do Terror from Beyond or do this or that. And I was like, no, Dread Fortress it is. And what I like about Dread Fortress is all of the fights have their own little mechanics to make it difficult in their own way. And what I mean by that is like with Corruptor Zero, you have to manage the ads in order to win. And that one, the gravity well, Grobfok, you have to learn that the magnet, you can't get sucked up in the magnet and you can't pipe smash. Versus story mode, it doesn't matter if he pipe smashes because you'll win. And Brontes is a huge eye opener it was for us.
Yeah.
I will say that that's a huge feat and congratulations to your team.
I will say we slam dunked that fight. I caused more wipes than anyone else on the team the night we killed her. And so as long as I wasn't screwing up, we were making good progress every pull. And once we got to the burn phase, we killed her on the first time we saw it.
What role are you playing?
I'm tanking. So I'm tanking a lot of these fights for the first time.
Are you a jug?
No, I'm a Vanguard.
That doesn't compute.
Republic bias confirmed.
Wait, so what is a Vanguard?
That is the trooper tank.
A trooper?
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is. That must be like the equivalent of a PT?
Yes.
Oh, see? Now we're talking my language. So how do you feel about tanking in a harder content now that you're doing it?
I mean, I was like a fill-in tank back when we were doing hard modes during Shadow of Revan and Rise of the Hutt Cartel. So I have a little bit of experience, but it's a whole new perspective on the fight. You know this. And like there are mechanics that if you screw them up even just a little, it'll cause a wipe. Like for Brontes, the smashing the orbs at the end, I had never done that before. And I was like, "How do you see these things? I don't know where they are." And it took me, a couple tries, 3 tries, I think, before I even had an idea what I was doing.
Sure. You know where I failed in the hard mode Brontes fight was in the finger phase when you get the 3 fingers and then there's the hand. I wasn't like I would never like when I first started doing it. I never did did a cooldown, and because of it, I would wipe the group
Oh,
because I would die, and I just didn't understand. But that's when I was first learning how. So I do understand what you're saying. I found the orbs maybe a little easier for me because I had somebody that was a pro, and he showed me the exact path that I needed to stand on. So it was almost like follow the leader at that point. Um, but you're right about tanking is a whole new ball game. But at the same time, it's almost like it's stressful because you're controlling the fight. But at the same time, like you don't have to worry about DPS numbers and keeping people alive. You know, if you're the tank, you're worried about like 1 or 2 things. When you're DPSing, you're worried about all the things and keeping your numbers up. Same thing with the healer. Healers have it even worse. They have to keep dumbasses like me and you alive. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, it's like I'm out of cooldowns. Take over, healers.
Exactly. And it's not like anybody announces, "Hey, I don't have any cooldowns left." It's like all of a sudden, oh wow, Marcus is losing all of his health really fast. Oh shit, he's about to die. You know what I mean? Um, would you say that Brontes was challenging, or was the fight itself challenging, or was it just mechanics heavy that had you guys stumped a little bit, or was that not the hardest fight for you in Dread Fortress?
Oh, I think the hardest fight for us was Draxus.
Yep.
And even like when we're going back, we still screw up sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Because there's a lot going on, and everybody kind of has a thing to do. And if you miss an interrupt, it gets a lot tougher. If you break the CC on the despoiler, things can get out of hand. If I use a taunt in the wrong place and the dismantler is running loose, that can cause a wipe.
So I joined a new nightmare team, nightmare progression, and we're doing Dread Fortress. And we're on Draxus, and Sunday was my first time like ever really doing it. I think I pulled it once before.
Yeah, the nightmare mechanics on Draxus are crazy.
Well, there's no break.
Yeah.
Like the waves come on a timer. So there's no like, okay, clear up the ads and then do something. The ads keep coming. But when the 2 sets of dismantlers come out, I have to AoE taunt and hold the boss and 2 dismantlers until they're dead.
Wow.
After they do their first kick. Yeah. And you have to use like every cooldown known to men, women, and children, because if not, you're gonna die.
Oh, you're solo tanking that too, right?
Correct.
Jumpins.
So we made it to the final phase one time with 5 people alive. But we were consistently making it to wave 7, that's the dismantler phase.
Yep.
The double dismantler. So I do know what you're saying in that fight. And in that fight, I guess you have to kill the bulwarks first.
Yes. Oh boy, it's been years since I've done it, but yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But anyways, shout out to Arul's House of Pancakes. They're learning quickly that my personality is strong. But they're a fun group of guys. Actually, the other main tank, I've played with them before, so that's been really fun. And I got roped into on Thursday. Oh, yesterday. So I signed into SWTOR. Actually, I was streaming. Last night was my first night back streaming, and I was just started doing my smuggler story. I was going to have a nice, easy night,
Who
and
spoiled your night?
well, nobody spoiled my night. You roped me into story mode gods, which was really fun. I got to play with the Bad Feeling crew, and it was really fun. It's really that operation has been dumbed down so much since it launched.
Well, it's story mode, and I think anyone should be able to do story mode.
Well, what I'm saying is, do you remember when it first came out?
Yep.
Story mode was like a hard mode.
Yeah.
And story mode now, like you can almost skip all of the mechanics. Like, I want to know if you leave Skyva up and Isaac's and don't move her, if she'll just survive.
I tried that once. She did die.
Oh, she did.
Yeah. So you got to move her for like 20 seconds.
Okay.
But yeah, so you can spend the last, like 2.5 minutes just ignoring her.
Right. But other than that, I am back on my streaming schedule. So I will be streaming Tuesdays, Saturdays, and then Sundays will be my whatever stream, whether I do like class story stuff or I get sucked into an operation, or Call of Duty or something like that. So that's my plan. And just for the record, everybody out there, I wish everybody would just stop playing on the pub side so they could all just be on the imp side and we could just run.
No. Pub side, best side.
Definitely not. Oh, so also too, I found out today that Kogus has like 1 billion credits, and I'm calling him out right now. So I was like, man, I want some of those credits. And he's like, I will give you 1 billion credits, or I will give you credits if you say Steel Sean is the best server ever and you can't ever take it back. And I was like, nope, I'll keep my credits.
That's right.
Thank you. You can keep your Steel Sean. In AIE news, Black Friday Mega is coming. So next Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be doing just a fun, lighthearted, sweet mega event. Maybe kill some world bosses. Maybe do some PvP achievements. Depending on how many people we have, maybe we'll just run some flashpoints. It's going to be super lighthearted. Maybe we'll just do some stronghold tours and see some people's strongholds. Just hang out for a few hours. Almost kick off the holiday season with, some fun. And then don't forget, other than next Friday, every Friday now in AIE is Fun Night Fridays. So either it's once a month you have Mega, or every other week it's Flashpoint Fridays, where they do the Aerotech mounts for the Master Mode Flashpoints. So they're doing those every Friday night or every other Friday night. And then they're doing Achievement Hunting Fridays, where they're picking a quest line that's easier with a group, and they're just checking them off the list. I think they just did the Nerf Calf one.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess it's much easier with all of that. But I'm not really sure what the Nerf Calf one is. I didn't do it.
There's this champion mob that you have to spawn in the middle of a quest on Alderaan, and it's kind of a pain. And it's easy to skip it by accident. But if you want the achievement for Lore Master on Alderaan, I think you have to kill the champion space cow.
Oh, well, that still sounds fun.
Yeah,
and it sounds like it'll be more fun with the group.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of the Feast of Prosperity?
I enjoyed it. It was a nice change of pace. Some really fun rewards. Like, I wanted to get the tomato launcher on as many of my characters as possible, so I was doing that stuff every day.
Oh wow! I didn't end up finishing even the quests. Well, I moved.
Well, that's a good excuse. Yeah.
So I got through the first 2 weeks of the story, and then my computer came apart and I moved and I didn't get to the third. Like, I think I logged in on the Tuesday, but it already like cycled away.
Yeah, you missed it.
Yeah, I just missed it, which, I mean, at the end of the day, it's okay. It stinks because I thought it was kind of cool how they had, the Hutt's like good cop, bad cop story.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that. But let's get into why we're here, right?
Yes.
So today we had our live stream. They postponed it from last week to tonight or today. And oh boy, it was a doo-wopper of a live stream.
Like, if you've ever seen one of their live streams before, it's like they get in, they get out pretty quickly. 30 minutes, I think, is what they kind of aim for. This was like 2 hours or more.
Well, so they started off and they were like, hey, everybody, I'm Eric Musco. I'm Charles Boyd. I'm Keith Koenig. And they talked a little bit about, how like they like doing the cantinas. Like Intisar and I, we met at PAX East, but we also all went to New York City for the cantina. And that was a lot of fun. And so basically they like to have cantina events, but because of 2020 sucking ass, we had to do a virtual one. But I'll tell you what, they went all out. And
yes.
I'm really, they really did go all out for it. They talked about the other locations that they've had them. They have in New York, Orlando, Anaheim. Didn't they say there was one in Germany?
Yes, Gamescom, I think it's called, out in Europe.
Yep. So they did one in Germany, and they just talked about all of it. And then they had to postpone last week due to some ridiculous stuff that we're not going to give anybody any satisfaction of talking about. So somebody was an idiot, and they postponed the event. And they rescheduled it for today. So with that, right out of the gate, I would say they really, like, the whole emphasis of this cantina was big, and they really wanted it to be special. And they wanted us to feel like we were all hanging out together. So they had 3 voice actors. Who were they? Well, I know Darren DePaul was there. And then
Carrie Walgren and
I forget his name. I'm looking for it. I should have been. Nosher Dalal.
Yes.
So he's our new Mandalorian ally, which I'm doing quotation marks for that because I wonder if he's going to be a companion or if he's just going to be an ally, almost like, some of them were at the beginning of Onslaught.
Right. Well, I think that would be cool. I mean, Mandalorians are all the rage right now anyway. And I don't know. If you killed Torian, you may not have a Mandalorian companion right now.
Oh, Torian is dead. I was not killing Vet. Vet was my main before I met Lana, and Lana swept me off my feet.
I'm the same way. Like, even on my bounty hunter, I saved Vet.
Yeah, that's the best. Anyway, so they started off. So last week, because of it, they actually just did interviews with the voice actors to give us these interviews to talk about the game and what they've done and all that stuff. So they started off with Carrie, and she's been voice acting for a lot of years. She does Rick and Morty's Jessica and Rick's Spaceship. I don't watch the show, so I don't know. Starfire and Teen Titans, Hadouken in some FCL and Fu Samurai Champloo. I don't know.
It's an anime.
Yeah. But she was super excited to be in the Star Wars universe. And, she's doing it all these years later, which is shocking. And actually, I remember when Holly Fields was on the show, she said the same thing. When she got a call years later to continue that, I'm doing my quotation marks, the same character, she was blown away. She thought it was separate video games because it was so many years later
Yeah.
that she had it. And they basically just talked to her about, all the different things and what it's been like voice acting. But the funniest part is, out of all three of them, they all said that they're pretty positive because they built a sound studio in their house and they can do their job at home.
Yeah. Like, I
So,
wonder how many of the cast are able to do that.
well, I think a lot of people did that because when COVID first hit, like, you couldn't get a microphone, you couldn't get anything.
Oh,
Like,
sure.
everything was sold out. And now, so everybody bought all the foam pads and the soundproofing and did what they had to do because they realized that if they want to work, they got to do it at home.
Oh, yeah. Like, I bet, Jennifer Hale and Nolan North, people like that, like big shot voice actors, may have had that stuff already. But you wonder, like, the actors in England, like Bertie Carvel, who does the agent. He's like a stage actor. Does he have a recording booth at home? Stuff like that. I wonder.
I bet if you have the money to do it, I bet you did whatever it took to do it because you realized, like, we're coming on a year of this. And if you want to continue to make money, there's not really a lot of movies being made.
Yeah, and if you're a stage actor, you're probably not working anyway. Like the actors today talked about that and how the voice acting has sort of been a good source of work for them this year.
Right. And I just wanted to point out that they asked Carrie what her favorite what color would her lightsaber be, and she said pink. So Charles said that they're going to get her a pink lightsaber.
Well, they changed the graphic in the middle of the interview,
Right.
from blue to pink, and Musco was like, "Everybody tweet pictures of pink lightsabers at her today," which I have done as well.
Have a lot of people done it?
Yes.
See, how cool is that?
Yeah.
I have a green lightsaber crystal.
I made that crystal for you.
You sure did. So what was your favorite part of the Carrie interview?
Like talking about, how she approaches the character and the different choices that the players can make. So, you can be like a light side, character and a dark side character, and how she approaches sort of how she performs each of those choices. And I think it was really interesting that Musco asked her, did you think of them as two different characters? And she said, no, she just like approaches each choice in the moment and how the character would respond in both directions. I thought that was really cool. It's like putting a lot more thought into the performance than you maybe would think. They're not just, reading lines off a script. They're actually thinking about the characters and how they're coming across.
Well, my favorite part was, when they asked her if she was a character, would she be light side or dark side? And she said straight up she'd be dark side. She likes to be the villain, but with a Jedi, she feels like the light is pulling you that way because they're supposed to be that way. And when you read the dialogue, it just makes you want to be good.
Well, my female, that's some Kylo Ren stuff, by the way. So I definitely appreciate that. But my my female Jedi is definitely light side. Although she started out dark side. The story kind of pushed her back to the light. Wow, she's right.
Yeah.
I never really thought about that. Jiminy.
Yeah. So I have never had a dark side character.
Wow. Even like with all your Sith characters.
I can't do it.
Well, you should do Dark Side Inquisitor, because you're just crazy world conquering master villain stuff.
Yeah, but I can't it doesn't like when you get that upset feeling in your stomach.
Oh yeah,
That's how I feel. Like it doesn't feel right to me, and it bothers me. Like there was one where you would like punch the person. It was in the smuggler story, and it was like one of the options was dark side, punch the person, and I was like, I'm not punching the person. I gotta tell them I'm on their side. Let's defuse the situation. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm the same way. Like, I don't even want to pretend to be a bad guy. It's a Star Wars game. I want to be the hero.
Right. So then they announced that they're going to be doing a ton of giveaways, which they did. And what was funny is I think it was kind of funny how they worded it, because they were like, "Oh, if you just have you already typed in chat, you don't need to say anything else." And then people started freaking out. Like the chat was going so fast you couldn't even follow it.
Yeah.
Cuz up until that point, uh it would like the chat was like you could follow it because it was on slow mode, and then it just got gonzo. But what they did do, so there's a code you can redeem. The code is, what is the code? Hold on. Do you see it?
Livestream Cantina 2020, all one
Oh,
word.
there it is. Yeah. So go to SWTOR.com/redeem, and you receive 4 classic Corellius Cantina mounts, all different colors, which that's pretty cool. We're getting 4 different color mounts. That's pretty legit.
And there's some big ass speeders. So if you want to crowd out the mailbox and be obnoxious, you can do that with these guys. They actually removed these speeders from the game at launch because people were complaining about how big they were.
Oh, so these aren't new mounts.
These versions are new-ish, but there were versions from launch that you can't get anymore that have the similar model.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Yeah, they were 1 million credits back then, I think. And that was a lot of money back then.
Wow. How cool is that?
So yeah, 4 free speeders.
Yeah, for sure. So then they got into the meat and potatoes. They talked about what happened so far in 2020, and then they were going to break down 6.2, and then they had more guest stuff. So I got to sneeze. So they talked about the Alderaan stronghold, the aftermath of the Meridian complex, Objective Meridian. They talked about the Galactic Guide, and that is the pop-up on the left of the game UI. Everybody hates it, but actually, I'm gonna say that I don't mind it because there was a mount. Was it the Hollow Rancor? There was a mount on there that I've wanted, but if it wasn't there, I wouldn't have looked at the cartel market, because I don't look at the cartel market every day.
I generally check to see what the sale is every day, so yeah, I don't mind the pop-up. It's a little annoying. Like on reset day, it's open for every character, but whatever. It's helpful. It's helpful for new players, I think.
See, I don't know. It's hard for me to understand what it's like to be a new player because I'm so vested. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I can't even imagine playing this game for the first time. I would be so overwhelmed.
It's hard for me to know what it's like for someone who's never played one of these games before. I came from Warcraft, and I'd been playing Warcraft for years, so I got SWTOR immediately. Like I understood, the questing and objectives and flight points and moving around, all that stuff. But yeah, if you're brand new, you've got all these buttons. What does it even mean? I can see being overwhelmed by that.
That was me when I first started playing the game. Like I say it all the time. I played for the first 2 weeks after it launched, and then I didn't pick it up again until after. It was right before Knights of the Fallen Empire.
Oh, okay. Wow, you missed out on a lot then.
Yeah, and I started playing one day, and I was almost self-taught how to play the game, and I still don't really know how to play the game like all of you do.
Says the Nightmare Raider.
I'm not a Nightmare Raider. You are not a Nightmare Raider until you have a Nightmare clear, and I don't have an Apex boss yet. I hope soon, but I don't have one yet. But anyway, so then they talked about new class sets, whatever. Master mode nature of progress, which, you know, the Nightmare community is playing like crazy. I would say the biggest thing of the years to talk about is the Steam release.
Yes, absolutely.
Cross save and cross play, trading cards, emotes, backgrounds, badges, and the achievements. I think the achievements thing was pretty sweet to add to the Steam library, because when they released it, I think I had like 109 of 190. And it was just a cool feeling to know that, like, I guess coming back full circle, it is just good. You know what I mean? To see all that. And I really like the Steam UI. It makes it a lot easier.
I have not installed SWTOR through Steam, so I don't know about any of those achievements or anything.
It's time to do it.
I gotta re-download the game again.
No, you. Yes. So, but here's what you do: you download it on Steam, and as soon as it's downloaded on Steam, you just delete the SWTOR game file. I mean, the SWTOR game, but all of your files will be saved in a folder because it's in like your local folder.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to have to reset anything. I haven't had a bitrate issue. I haven't had a login issue since I came to Steam.
I've been having a few of those this week.
I can't do it. It's an outdated way. And now that it's on Steam, I just log into Steam and there's all my other games that I play on Steam or like Battle.net or something. But other than that, I just click in and I'm done. It's so satisfying because of it. So do it.
Oh, I've got Steam for other games, so yeah.
Oh my God. I'm telling you. And then Keith said something about how they're going to be, they said something about they're going to be doing direct patching on Steam. So what is sweet is direct patching means it's done directly on Steam without having to launch the game.
Oh, wow.
So what that means is when you log into Steam, it's automatically going to put your game in download mode. So if you go to your download section, it's going to just be in the queue with the rest of the games that need to be updated. So you no longer have to wait at the launcher for it to update.
I want to interrupt you for just 1 second. Kari Walgren liked and replied to my picture of my Jedi with the pink lightsabers. I'm so happy right now.
And what did she say?
I got some emojis, some heart eyes and a heart. Oh, thank you.
Oh, you should link that in the show notes so you can see it. That's awesome. Well, I'm sure that you and a bunch of other people who care to do that and took the time to, send a little love her way to say thanks for doing this work, that means a lot to somebody, especially now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, I think there was a couple thousand people watching the live stream.
Yes.
So
which is really cool to see.
Exactly. But anyway, so all I'm going to tell you is download the game on Steam. I'm happy I did. I only have one account. I don't have multiple accounts. That's not who I am. I barely have time to play the characters that I have, let alone create a whole nother account. Okay. So now, game update 6.2 Echoes of Vengeance. This is the update that we've been waiting 16 months for.
No.
Yes. That was my dig.
Oh, I see. 12 months?
14.
I think if we're going to be fair, it's more like 6 months or 5 months. But yes, a long time, even
Wait a
by
minute. Wait,
SWTOR
wait, wait, wait,
standards.
wait, 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 wait. How do you figure?
Well, this was originally scheduled for the summer, right?
Yeah, but that was so. But with the last time we got real story content was 14 months ago.
No, it was October that Onslaught came out. So,
Yeah, 14 months. It's
all right,
December.
it's not quite December, but yeah.
Well, it
And
will be by the time it comes out.
yes, and we had a few little 5 minute vignettes, but yes, nothing, nothing deep.
And now I'm gonna rant.
Oh, I know.
Eh,
We've argued about this before.
No, no. So here's where I this is where everybody's gonna hate me for this. What's it? Ben Irving had a good idea. So everybody was saying how they're patient to get the content and all that stuff. I am not that person. Since day one, I loved that. Knights of the Fallen Empire is my favorite expansion. I did this Hut Cartel. I did Shadow of Revan. I've done them all. Knights of the Fallen Empire is the most well written storyline of them all. The fact that we got a new piece of content every 6 weeks to 8 weeks was awesome.
Yeah, that year when you'd log on, there'd be some HK junk in your mailbox, and then a couple hours of story
Mm-hmm.
every patch. That was really cool. Like I don't know how they were able to keep up that cadence. That must have been a crap load of work. And it did cost us flashpoints and operations. I mean, is that a trade you're willing to make?
Well, it didn't though. So it did cost us some flashpoint. It did cost us some of that, but what it did was give us new content every other month. And for me, like, yes, I do operations. That's my main mode of this game. But really, truly, I play this game for the story because it's Star Wars,
Oh yeah, I'm sure most people. In fact,
right?
I've even the hardcore raiders. I think it's mainly about the story. If you want to raid, you play another game. Let's be realistic. If all you want to do is raid, I mean.
Mm, all I want to do is raid, but I want to have a lightsaber. I don't want to have a bow staff. Um, but what I mean, okay, so what I'm trying to say is they had something coming. Then, like the Nightmare Raiders, when Gods from the Machine was coming out, they hated the whole one boss at a time. I loved it because my team would play the first boss and work on the first boss and beat the first boss, and then we would go do something else. And then when the second boss came out, we would do the same thing: beat the first boss, beat Tithe, and then go to the sisters. And it kind of added that way. So when we had the content come back like every month and we got all the Gods from the Machine stuff, like I was saying, is it was constant stream of content. And waiting 14 months for this next piece of story for me is just too long. I understand there's exceptions for it, but it's too long for content. Um, so they talked about the new Flashpoint called Spirit of Vengeance.
Have you been on the PTS to check it out?
I won't. I don't
That's
like to.
that's fair.
So when it's like when they're asking us to test like gearing on the PTS, I'm all for it. But honestly, I don't want to ruin anything. I want to get into that Flashpoint for the first time and be like, "Oh, this is sweet." Not, "Oh, I saw this in the PTS. Oh, this has changed. Look at there's a green shirt instead of a blue shirt."
Oh, I totally understand. Like that is one of the best feelings in the game when you're, especially group content. The first time you go in with friends, that's an amazing feeling. Like having no idea what's going to happen. That's so cool.
Right. And it kind of helped me that the Flashpoint came out right as I was in my move.
Oh,
So I
right.
so I thought I could do it with some friends, but then I was busy, so I couldn't. Um, and he says we've seen a little intro to this in 6.1.4. Janekai Ordo and Shea Vizsla unrest among the Mandalorians.
Jakaya
I
Ordo.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever saw that.
Oh, if you have somebody who's completed the story, it should be a little pop up in your quest log. Like meet with Jakaya Ordo or Shea Vizsla on Odessen.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever did it. So the only one I really do the story with is my main Marauder.
Oh, well, then that's probably the one.
So everybody else, I don't really, you know what I mean? It's kind of one of those things that
Oh, yeah. I haven't completed all the Onslaught story on, I think, 3 characters have finished it. I have a bunch sort of halfway through, but I sort of, I have my story main characters.
exactly that's how I feel. So then they talked about Echoes of Oblivion, which we'll talk about that more in a minute.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
the login reward system. What do you think about this?
Uh, I don't know. I've never really played a game with login rewards. I've popped onto the PTS to check them out, and there's nothing you're gonna you're gonna be like, oh yay, I got a social boost, or I got some Jawa junk. It's nothing that's gonna make or break you. It's just like, oh, here's some free stuff for logging on.
I agree.
Um, I do hope every once in a while, it doesn't have to be every month or even every, let's say every 3 months, you should get something awesome if you're a subscriber and you're regularly logging into the game.
So I do agree. So the Elder Scrolls Online does it a lot, and they do. If you log in 5 out of 7 days a week, you get the weekly, right? And that counts towards the furthest, the furthest items,
Right. Yeah, SWTOR is, I think, 4 days a week for subs.
right? And that's perfect. And then on top of that, if they're going to give us something awesome for logging into the game, that's even better. You know what I mean? Like everybody was complaining that it's not useful, but you got to understand that for the most part, most people that play this aren't max level. So that the crafting mats for the low level stuff that can help out a newer player.
I don't think it's going to help that much, though. It's like a few extra mats. It's no big deal. I think that's maybe what they should look at. Sort of, let's give things that will help people. Um, even if it's just like, consumables you can use for, some more XP or an XP boost. Although those you get those all over the place now, but yeah, I don't know how you balance rewards with, like, you don't want them to be too good, but you don't want them to be utter garbage either. So, like, I don't know where you can find that balance.
That's right. What do you think of the emote window?
I played with it a little. It's pretty neat. It's definitely a lot easier to find things. Um, like I've got a lot of characters, and I haven't unlocked all the emotes, so I don't always know which characters have which dances unlocked. It's like, oh, can I do the chicken on this character? Oh no, I can't. So it's a lot easier to figure it out. Oh, it's like, okay, hip dip, I can do that, and to kind of sort through them and get to the ones you want, it's a lot quicker.
Oh, all right. I don't have a view on it at all. I think the only emote I do is slash wave. Hi. Or slash dance. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm not really, I don't really use them. So I'm happy if the RPers are happy with this, I'm happy for them. Okay. So we're getting the Return of Life Day, and, thank God it's coming. Speaking of Life Day, Lego Star Wars just released their holiday special.
I watched it. It was cute.
I watched it with my kids. So everybody talks about their favorite emperor in Star Wars. Okay. My favorite emperor is the Lego Star Wars emperor.
All right, yes, he was awesome.
No, well, so my daughter loves Lego Star Wars, the shows. So I've watched them all. All the Lego Star Wars shows we've watched in my house. The Emperor is the best Emperor out of them all because he's snarky, he's rude, and like he doesn't give a shit. He'll zap you with lightning just to do it. And in some of the earlier, I think it's called like Yoda Chronicles or Droid Tales or something. Darth Vader, it like starts off as like they just become, and he's like he rise the emperor goes, rise Lord Vader, and he comes up and he's like, you don't know the power of the duh, like his voice box is like broken and his legs keep walking him into the wall. He's like, I'm still trying to learn how to use these legs. And it's just hilarious, it's just so ridiculous. But what I want to know is the holiday special canon?
You got to say no, right? Because the time travel stuff breaks everything.
Well, they said that they were going to do that.
That's a spoiler, by the way. I'm sorry if you haven't seen it, but
Well, if you've watched the trailer, you've seen that. All I'm trying to say is I want to know if it's canon.
I think it's canon in the Lego Star Wars universe. How's that for a cop-out answer?
Yeah, that is a complete cop out. And then lastly, the 9-year anniversary. Everything is laying out for this 10-year anniversary. They basically said that. The flashpoints, you're going to have solo, story, veteran, and master, which is really weird for me to hear. So there's going to be 4 new modes for this flashpoint.
Yeah, they've done that with the Theron Trader arc. So there was, you do the story, and it has the full cutscenes and stuff. But then if you want to go back and solo it for achievements or whatever rare drops they have, you can do that on solo, veteran, or master mode. Hopefully, veteran and master will have different rewards. I think that's kind of been the big problem with the those new flashpoints, is that there's kind of no reason to do them on veteran or master mode.
I personally love the master mode flashpoints.
Yes, me too.
I've never even done all of the flashpoints on solo or story. I haven't even done them all.
Well, I mean, there are a ton of people who play this game solo, and so they definitely want those solo modes.
Sure. And they should have them. I believe that in 2020, if you want to play a game solo, play it. Obviously, you can't do operations, but that's okay. But there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do a flashpoint solo.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, so we meet up with the rebel clans, and I mean the Mandalorian clans. You get this new companion guy, and they show some like cool artwork. It looks like Mandalore the Great or somebody in that one background where there's like a cage of an animal above his head.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I mean, I know I've been there, but I don't want to spoil it for you.
Oh, okay.
I will say it's very cool, and there's lots of cool Mando stuff.
Yeah, so this Charles Boyd must love this. So then they got into the second interview with Noshir Dalal. He's the new Mandalorian ally. He basically he probably, we know him as Charles Smith from Red Dead Redemption 2, or Varco Gray from Star Wars Squadrons. He was super excited when he found out that he was going to be on SWTOR. And yeah.
So this guy is a legit Star Wars fan. Like he was talking about what it's like to be a Mandalorian, and he did like a deep expanded universe call out, talking about how Boba Fett became Mandalore after Fench Shiza passed the title to him, and if you follow me on Twitter, I've got a Mandalorian helmet as my avatar, and that's the helmet of Fen Shiza. I'm not exactly sure how it's said, but so like this is one of my favorite obscure Star Wars characters, and like to hear him talking about that, I'm like, fuck yeah, man. I mean, fudge yeah.
You can swear on this show.
So I was really psyched to hear that, and like just hearing him talk about the things he's done, like he mentioned that he did the motion capture for Arkin in those amazing Blur trailers, and just sort of how he kind of got into the role and how he was inspired by it. We can get into that with the Darren DePaul section later, but it was really cool, and his voice is amazing. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this character turns out.
I know it's so cool that he's vested into this game, and he didn't even know he was vested into this game.
Yes.
So, Echoes of Oblivion, a missing ship carrying an unknown menace, a former Jedi Masters in mortal danger, and the potential return of the galaxy's greatest evil. Join Jedi Kira Carson, Sith Lord Scourge, and many other allies facing this mysterious threat before time runs out.
Oh, man.
I am looking forward to this because Kira was my main before she disappeared.
Right.
And through the story. And I really like Scourge as a character because he's so evil, but yet he's so good.
He's a bit like Lana. He's more practical than just outright evil.
Yeah. And so they showed us some more screenshots of everybody, which kind of got us excited. And then where I really got excited was there was a picture of some like Sith in a way, but had two lightsabers, total marauder, greatest class in the game. Predation is the greatest move ever created. Bloodthirst, hello. Yeah, you're welcome, whoever's new to the game. Just roll a marauder and everything will be okay. So when I saw this, I don't know who they are. They mentioned it might be something.
Yeah, Charles talked about they're not like the Emperor's Hand or anything like that, but they're another group that are out there.
Right. And so I like seeing stuff like that. And then they showed us a group picture of showing some people that are like, I don't know if they're dead on the ground or they're all in a circle. And it's, Kira and Scourge. It looks like Senya's in the background.
Yeah, so depending on the choices you've made, different characters will be in the story. So that's like always nice to see that, choices matter.
There's only one character I think I killed in the whole game. Companion. And that's Koth.
Poor Koth.
Because he took my ship. Anyways, then they showed us this awesome building, and they said it's the Jedi Temple, but I don't know where that would be.
It looks like the one on Ossus more than the one on Tython, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, because that does not look like the one on Tython. But either way, and then they showed us some more screenshots, but then they showed us this wicked sweet screenshot of like two Jedi statues, and it was like covered in like white fog.
Yeah.
It was like a bridge to a doorway. Like I hope I get to run down that hallway.
Yes.
And where I went bananas is when they showed Thexan and Valen. I went crazy when I saw Valen because believe it or not, Valen is one of my favorite characters from this game.
All right, so I made a prediction back in January that they were going to bring Valen back somehow. Like, I don't know if this counts. This seems like the dream world kind of thing that we saw at the end of Fallen Empire. So I don't know if she's just sort of back as a dream image or if she's really coming back. But my money is on Valen somehow getting out. Like, how cool would that be? Like, like the dark side choice would be to say Valen, who's just crazy, right? I think saving Valen has got to be a dark side choice. But and then so yeah, you bring her back. I think I think that would be a good ending to the character. I don't think she quite got the ending she deserved.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked her as a character because
She's
she
so
de-
much fun.
well, and she depicted a nice little girl and then what evil can do to them.
Oh yeah, Valkorion fucked her up, and
Yes.
I'm not changing that f bomb. Um,
Well, you don't
yeah,
have to, but I do agree he did fuck her up completely. So we had and then you got a picture of Valkorion, which was great, and of course that's what led into Darren DePaul. Now, if anybody knows Darren DePaul did Valkorion. He did Major Henri. He has done uh, Reinhardt in Overwatch. He did some of the Star Wars Squadrons. Um, he did the kitchen droid in SWTOR. I mean, he's done a lot of work. I think he did somebody in Apex Legends too, one of their new characters. But what I really liked about him is he'll be talking and he'll just go into the Valkorian voice.
yes.
And I'm just like, oh my God. And it gives you chills.
And there was one point where he went from Valkorion to Daerun to Junkerjot, like all within like the same sentence, and that was like really amazing.
Right. And he's always in a suit.
Yes, you were there. I don't know if you got to talk to him at the cantina, but man, he is a prince of a gentleman. And so the cantina event last year was on a Friday, and that Friday was the first day that they started selling action figures from The Mandalorian. And so I came to New York from Boston, and I caught a train in the morning. But before I got on the train, I went over to Target to check to see if I could get a Mandalorian action figure. And I'm talking to him that night at the cantina, and he did the exact same thing. He got up first thing to go out to buy an action figure, and I think the one that he showed during the live stream is probably the one he bought that morning.
No
And
way.
yeah, so like man, like he cares about this stuff and he is so into it, and that comes across like in the live stream and when you meet him. And if you get a chance to, once this is all over and they do cantina events again, please go to them, meet these people. They want to meet you, and you will, their enthusiasm for the game is so infectious.
I remember it was 2 years ago or was it last year?
uh Last year.
Yeah, so
It feels like 2 years.
right. So last year, and you know how he cares. The cantina fell on their anniversary,
That's right.
so they were celebrating their anniversary. Him and his wife at the cantina with all of us, which I think is so cool. And then they brought in Aaron Wentworth, a Bioware staff member who works is a senior UI designer. I mean, and she gives an overview on the login rewards. But she was wearing a oh my God, and she was wearing a pilot's outfit bathrobe.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I want one.
Oh my God, it was so funny. But hey, so I wanted to ask you about the Zerka Kratos-Matic. Do you have one of those?
No. Medulla, who we both know, has one, I think, but
Okay.
I've never. I've seen it used, but I've never had one.
All right.
Musco wasn't kidding when he said the drop weight was ridiculously low.
I wonder if I ever won one of those when I first started playing and I just disintegrated it.
Probably not, but yeah. I mean, I've been playing 9 years and I've never seen it drop.
What does it drop from?
Well, there's a lot of urban legends around it. In theory, it can drop from any mob, but what I hear is that it only drops from level 50 mobs when you are level 50. So once you sort of outlevel the sort of classic expansion, you won't be able to see it drop again.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, they did post some of the login rewards. So he said that as you progress through the reward calendar, the rewards and the reward amounts will become more and more lucrative and will include credit chips, scavenged scrap, assorted droid parts, Jabba junk, Kaizaiken's satchel of dies, cartel certificates. And then every seventh login, you can expect to find a chest waiting for you filled with various rewards, including a calendar defining reward. So, purple sparkle powder, tech fragments, credit chips, personal conquest requisition, and legendary emperor.
Purple sparkle powder, man. That's what I'm about.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's no other way to get it. So, and
Right.
so far, it's the only thing that, at least on the PTS, that they've rewarded that you can't get anywhere else.
Oh, well, then that's cool. It's just another thing, right?
Yeah. But it's not a big deal. But I know like Kogus loves sparkle powder, and if it's not bound, I'm sure he'd be willing to buy it from you.
Oh, well, he's got the money.
That's right. 1 million per sparkle powder.
Yep, that's exactly right. But I think I think the login rewards are going to be fun because they're going to give us an extra taste of something. You know what I mean? And that we don't normally have, and it's just add it to the game, right?
Right.
And extra stuff. So the emote window, like we talked about, looks cool. Life Day is Life Day. They're gonna have some new rewards. There's a Wampa with like a snowball like stuck to his head. The 9th anniversary vendor is back with new rewards, new stronghold trophies inspired by Jedi Under Siege and Onslaught. Cool. Um, and they gave up some stuff, but when they were wrapping it up, Keith, uh, so they mentioned that they mentioned the 10-year anniversary, and Keith was Keith.
Right.
And if anybody knows that Keith Koenig he's the boss. He makes all the decisions for this game for Bioware. He's the head honcho. And he said he started asking some things, and Busco kept replying with, "That feels like something we should tell them next year." and then he said that a few times, and then he said something. He goes, "Something, something, something that will affect the rendering of the game." And everybody was like, "What?"
What?
So I called this a long time ago. My tinfoil hat is they're doing something to the graphics or the engine of this game for the 10-year anniversary. I've narrowed it down to two things. My tinfoil hat is it's either a server, a game engine update, or they're giving us 8 new class stories.
I don't even know what is least likely. They have been. I think that's the project for this year. They've been going through each element of the UI and updating it. We're getting the emote window next. The quest log they got made into the what is it? Whatever that pop-up thing is called. And so maybe, yeah, I don't know, but oh, 8 new class. Oh, I'd love to see it, but I don't think it's going to happen, Marcus.
Well, what I mean by 8 new class stories, I don't think it would be like what the original game is. But what if they were a chapter apiece and it took all of your characters back to like it was like a side quest for your character and they got to go be a smuggler again or an agent again or whatever it was.
I would love that. Like on Rishi, every class gets their own little side quest, and that's basically the highlight of at least Rishi, I think. And some of those side quests are amazing. Like the Jedi Knight one is terrific. And, so yeah, like I think anything that sort of makes the story feel more personal to you and your character and your class, I am 100% supportive of.
Right. Yeah. Um, I mean, those are my tinfoil hats, but
Yeah.
Keith, you know, it's the
Oh
game.
yeah,
It's
he
the
can't
game we
wait.
play. Yeah, he can't wait to tell us. And like, I swear, if Keith was there with us, so I remember. Okay, I remember when the Bad Feeling podcast was still a thing, and they had Keith on the show. I remember they recorded it, and I messaged Brian. I said, "Well, where's the episode?" He goes, "Yeah, we're waiting for some adjustments," because Keith just spouted off. He got into talking, and he was just like, "Yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this." And and Muska was like, "We can't. You can't release that to the world."
We need a solo Keith live stream.
Exactly, an AMA.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
Um, and so then good old Dan Steed, created a trailer for 6.2, and let's call out what the biggest thing was on there: the two
Oh,
emperors,
yes. Um,
Sarpicia and Valkorian.
right. Um, and I heard they got the original Emperor voice actor back to do that as well. So that is just so cool.
Oh, I
Um,
did not know that. I didn't hear that part. How cool is that?
yes.
So I'm curious on where this story is going to take us. Like, are we going to go back in time? Are we going to go into a dream? Are we going to, or is everything just going to come to fruition? I'm so excited for this.
I think like they can, oh man, this thing can be crazy. And I hope they go full crazy. I want to see them pull out all the stops for this.
So I guess I'm adding to our tinfoil hat.
I got something to add as well. I can ask you about that after.
All right. So they made it very clear that this is the end of the Emperor story.
Yeah, I think
This
so.
is it. This is the culmination. There will be no more Darren DePaul's Valkorian or the Emperor. They're pulling out all the stops. So then from this point, does that mean we're not going to get any story until the 10-year anniversary, and it's going to be a new expansion, new everything?
I hope not, because that would be like, all right, we're assuming the 10-year anniversary will be about the same time as the first launch, right? So that would be
A year
December
from now. Yeah, a year.
2021.
Yeah, a year-ish from now.
No, they can't go a year with no story again. I think they've sort of adjusted to the whole COVID lifestyle now. And so I think we'll probably see things come out a little quicker next year. I mean, the Onslaught story is not even finished, right? And this isn't going to finish that. So, yeah, there's more story before another expansion.
But
I hope.
when does the game? Yeah, but 10-year anniversary is 10-year anniversary, right?
Right.
So is it going to be a year-long 10-year anniversary?
Oh,
Or is it going to be just a December expansion with all the stops?
that would be my guess.
Right. That's and I'm just speculating here because I don't actually know, but I really want to see this game survive. And if they did if they do rendering, and I'm doing my quotation marks, which would mean a game engine something, I wonder if they're going to release the game on consoles.
I I mean, like of all the things you suggested, that seems to me the least likely. Like, how do you even play SWTOR on a controller?
You dumb it down, take away moves,
Oh
make
no, don't no! I like my
make
moves. I
make
like my
make
rotations.
make the moves passive. Like, okay, so for the Marauder, the ferocious button, you can take the tactical to make for the ferocity window always open. You lose 50% of armor pen, but now you have to click one less button. So what if,
Isn't it one button now? That's what I hear.
well, that's if you're playing, if you're spec right. Yeah. The massacre. Just ask Vasnar. Um, so what I mean is if they dumbed it down, like the moves, they could totally put it on a controller. And
Man.
think about all the people that would play this game if that happened.
Well, boy, like how do you do nightmare rating on a controller? Like I just it seems a long shot to me.
Yeah, but how come the Final Fantasy 14 and ESO do it?
Well, I don't know those games, but I imagine, their mechanics are very different from SWTOR's.
I don't know. I thought red circles on the ground are the same in all games.
It's true. Don't stand in the fire.
Right. So what did I touch on what you wanted to say?
No. So, all right. Have you been continuously subbed since the game started?
Yes. Well, no. No. Since I started playing the game, yes, except for 2 months of a summer that I was super busy and I missed the HK quest.
Oh, okay. So during the 5-year anniversary, people who had been subbed continuously since the launch of the game, they got like a stronghold decoration with a.
Yep.
It's not the greatest thing ever, but it was like a cool little thank you.
Yeah, with
to
the 5 and it was spinning in a circle.
Yeah. So yes, that's the replacement one because they accidentally gave everyone the original deco. But anyway, so 10-year is next year. Are they going to do something special for the people who've been subbed throughout the game's lifetime?
100%.
Well, here's the thing. So Warcraft did something similar, and what they did is they mailed a mini statue of an orc riding a wolf to every person who had been continuously subbed to Warcraft for 10 years. I was like, is SWTOR going to do something like that? Are they going to mail everyone a statue of Malgus or something?
I don't think so.
I know. I kind of wish they would, but I don't think they would. But
again, it depends how much money they're. I feel like the 10-year anniversary is a make it or break it investment time for the game, right? I feel like, okay, it's either EA has to put in some money and BioWare's got to do the work and they're going to make this game go another 10 years, or they're going to just slow down the process and let it ride into the sunset because they have another Star Wars IP online game that they're currently working on.
Well, apparently it's tough to make a Star Wars game this year, or lately anyway. Like we keep hearing about all these Star Wars games that are canceled, right? So you figure if there's another SWTOR multiplayer game coming out, maybe we'd know about it by now. So I think what you're saying about revamping the engine makes sense if they want to keep this engine going. Because, I love this game, but it definitely does not look like a modern video game.
Well, it's not even the modern video game. It can't handle the updates. Look at Osis and those 2 world bosses. Now I have I have a pretty high-end computer. I wouldn't say my computer's a slug. In my computer, I turn it on low and it still is terrible. The engine can't handle some of the stuff in the game. Like, we hear about all the PvPs cry about desync and stuff. That's due to the engine.
Right. Yeah, so if they can update the engine and kind of crack the desync nut, man, who knows where this game can go.
Yeah, we don't need the game to look like it's from 2008. Just bring it to like 2012.
And I don't think that's impossible.
It all comes down to money.
Yes, like that's what I've wondered. Like, how willing is EA to pony up?
Well, we're gonna find out soon enough.
We keep this has probably been one of the most profitable Star Wars games ever made, right? We've heard they've made $1 billion with a B off of SWTOR over the last 9 years, you know, and I bet they've had a good year with the Steam launch and people being home with COVID. So why not invest in the game? Like, what's the downside?
I don't know. See, I don't know what a lot of money in video games means. You know what I mean?
Right.
I really don't know. So if it's I don't know if it's like one thing versus the other. You know what I mean? Let me say it. So I don't know if $1 billion over 9 years is good, or is that not good, but they're just saying, hey, look at, you crossed $1 billion. I
Yeah,
don't have
like,
that answer.
so let's say $100 million a year. I don't know, but did Squadrons make $100 million? I don't know. Did Fallen Order make $100 million?
See, I don't know. I don't think so. Oh, maybe 100 million. I don't know. Well, I know you can get Squadrons right now for like $15
Yeah, that's a good deal.
if you want to get motion sickness.
Yeah, my nephew has one of those VR headsets, and I'm like, no, I'll just play it on the screen. Thank you very much.
Exactly. Intisar, tell everybody where they can read your stuff.
GenericHero.com, generic-hero.com, and that'll take you right to This Week in Aurebesh. Or you can follow me on Twitter at Intisar which is one word, I believe.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Oh, man. It was great to be back. Thank you so much.
What are you guys talking about in here?
Find out next episode of Working Class Nerds.